Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for The Legends of Tomorrow Episode 3. So let's start talking about this episode. Here we get to see, once again, more separated plots. So you have Captain Cold, Heatwave, and Jax doing their thing, Sarah and Rip Hunter doing theirs, and then Professor Stein and Ray with their own story, with pretty much Hawkgirl, even though she's unconscious for most of the episode. But yeah, let's go story to story. With Ray and Professor Stein, they're trying to help Hawkgirl, and it's also this emotional arc where Ray's like, you remember me as your student, right? And Professor Stein has to lie to him and say, yeah, totally, I remember, and give him confidence to help Hawkgirl. And also, it's Ray opening up, talking about Anna Loring, which we learn her last name, which if you guys know, Ray's wife in the comics is Jean Loring, who has also appeared on Arrow, who's a much older character. So I'm wondering maybe younger Jean Loring or I'd say like maybe a daughter might show up and we'll actually see Jean Loring. That would be kind of interesting. I wonder if they're playing on the last name a bit, so we'll have to find out. But it's definitely building their friendship and building Ray as a character and his confidence as a character, and digging more into his emotional arc, which was only digged a little bit in Arrow. And then even another emotional arc. Well, there's a lot of emotional arcs in this show, but it's with Captain Cold trying to change his past. Even though, of course, how many times in this show already have we learned not to change the past because things could happen? But Captain Cold doesn't care, and he wants to try to help his father. That way, his sisters kind of and him not abused in the future. And even though he steals the mineral, which looks a lot like kryptonite, it's still pretty much history repeats itself in a different way. So he didn't really change the future, which was good because his sister didn't like disappear, but or not exist. But at the same time, he wasn't really able to save anything. But at least he got to see his younger self. And then the last story is with Sarah and Rip Hunter, and Sarah, you know, talking about finally the bloodlust and how she feels like a monster because of it. And then Rip Hunter also having some things he's been keeping, that this is not the first time he's fought Vandal Savage, and now he actually gave some information to Vandal Savage that he did not have before, which was his child and his wife's name. So this might bite them in future episodes. So that's pretty much what's going on, and now they're going to be going to the 1980s, which I'm curious of what they're going to do there, but we'll find out. And I know they're going to like the 1950s soon, so they're going to be going back and forth a lot. I kind of wish they gave a better reason to say, oh well, Vandal Savage is there too, let's go to the 1980s. But technically, isn't Vandal Savage in every year, so they could have given a better excuse, or a better reasoning to go to the 1980s. But hopefully they'll describe that in the next episode. But I thought this was a pretty good episode. Had some good character building. My favorite parts, honestly, definitely Sarah, you know, looking at her time at the League of Assassins and seeing that when they went to the bank, they were able to show that these people were assassins and not regular bank tellers. And it was cool that Sarah kind of has that ability to do that. And it was an awesome fight scene. I guess my complaint with Sarah's story, though, is more towards Arrow because of the bloodlust thing. And spoiler alert if you haven't seen Arrow from this week. But in this week's Arrow, it pretty much showed that Sarah doesn't have to kill people because her soul was given to her again. And for some reason, Thea, it's feeding off of her, so I'm really confused of why Sarah pretty much has the same exact thing as Thea, but somehow her soul is given back. So yeah, a lot of plot holes to the bloodlust thing that Arrow kind of set up this week. So maybe the writers should have talked a little bit more about that, even though some of the writers are the same, so I don't know. I'm curious to see where the bloodlust thing goes, but I did like Sarah and her story and what it brought. I'm just kind of confused of what they're doing with the bloodlust. It was cool that they mentioned Thea's name in this episode, so I enjoyed that. So that was cool. Yeah, the Captain Cold story was pretty good. I kind of wanted a little bit more with it. I was expecting more because we saw that in the trailer. I think it was one of the first trailers we saw that. I'm like, oh cool, he's gonna meet himself, and it was a little disappointing that part of the story, but still had a lot of emotional weight. And of course, I keep giving this kind of the surprise character that I'm loving in this show, and that's Ray and Professor Stein. They had a really, really good story, and I would say just because I'm a big Sarah fan, I liked her story because of that, and that's something I really enjoyed. But I think the one that had the most emotional weight, and I guess the story that just had the most weight, was Professor Stein's and Ray's story here. So overall, there was a lot of great arcs here. Jax, I felt like could have done a little bit more in this episode. I feel like he was just stuck with Captain Cold just because. And we do get some revelations with the Hawkman death from last episode, so that was good, and hopefully we'll get even more revelations in the future of what's going to happen with Hawkman. And hopefully more Kendra slash Shiera, because she wasn't really in this episode because she was pretty much unconscious throughout the whole episode. But that's my thoughts, of course, and don't forget to check out the Legends of Tomorrow podcast. We're going to be recording right after this, so that will be up tomorrow. So check that out, and I'll have, if you guys ask for links, I'll put it in the description below for you guys to check out the Legends of Tomorrow podcast. So, this is Comic Inno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there's links from my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. I'll see you guys later. Bye.